So Donald Trump has come out and put out a statement absolutely destroying, blasting, roasting, whatever, Mitch McConnell. I want to read you a few excerpts because it really does get across that Donald Trump is starting in earnest his 2024 run, or at the very least, the process by which he plans to take revenge on everyone in the Republican Party he feels betrayed him. It notes here, the Republican Party can never again be respected or strong with political quote-unquote leaders like Mitch McConnell at its helm. McConnell's dedication to business as usual status quo politics, together with his lack of political insight, wisdom, skill, and personality, has rapidly driven him from majority leader to minority leader, and it will only get worse. The Democrats and Chuck Schumer play McConnell like a fiddle. They've never had it so good, and they want to keep it that way. We know our America First agenda is a winner, not McConnell's Beltway First agenda or Biden's America Last. I single-handedly saved at least 12 Senate seats, more than 8 in the 2020 cycle alone, and then came Georgia disaster, where we should have won both Senate seats, but McConnell matched the Democratic offer of $2,000 stimulus checks with $600. How does that work? It became the Democrats' principal advertisement. It was a complete disaster in Georgia and in certain other swing states. McConnell did nothing and will never do what needs to be done in order to secure a fair and just electoral system into the future. He doesn't have what it takes, never did, and never will. My only regret is that McConnell, quote unquote, begged for my strong support and endorsement before the great people of Kentucky in the 2020 election, and I gave it to him. He went from 1 point down to 20 points up and won. How quickly he forgets that without my endorsement, McConnell would have lost and lost badly. Now his numbers are lower than ever before. He is destroying the Republican side of the Senate, in so doing, seriously hurting our country. Mitch is a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack, and if any Republican senators are going to stay with him, they will not win again. He will never do what needs to be done or what is right for our country. Where necessary and appropriate, I will back primary rivals who espouse making America great again and our policy of America First. We want brilliant, strong, thoughtful, and compassionate leadership. So you can see what happens here. Donald Trump, this is the first salvo in his desire to reshape the Republican Party. Whether he's going to personally run in 2024 or not is besides the point at this stage. Right here, right now, it is about crushing McConnell and all those people that stood with him. Likely the GOP senators that voted to impeach or voted to convict, and the 10 or 11 Congress people that voted to impeach him, and maybe anybody else that was a fence sitter like McConnell who didn't vote to convict but then sort of gave justifications about how Trump is responsible for what happened on January 6th. This is the start. What's interesting here is Trump isn't 100% wrong. I don't think it's quite accurate to say that Mitch McConnell won his seat only because of Donald Trump. I think a lot of the polling was perhaps inaccurate in places like Kentucky, and that maybe, the endorsement from Trump helped McConnell. I don't doubt it didn't help him a little bit because Republicans are very loyal to Trump. But I think McConnell probably would have won either way. But Trump is 100% right to say that the traditional Republican way of doing politics cost them in Georgia. What cost the Republicans in Georgia was both Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell's fault. On the electoral side, it was Donald Trump's fault because in telling his people, you might as well not participate, or at the very least, the Trump ecosystem saying to them, it's a contest you can't win. The Democrats are going to steal it. That sort of depressed turnout. But I think crucially, from the McConnell side, in refusing to back the $2,000 checks that were supported by the Democratic candidates and by Donald Trump himself, he backed $2,000 just before Christmas. They gave the crucial swing issue to voters that were undecided. Voters that said, hey, look, I don't know who to pick, but the Democrats, like Trump, are going to give me $2,000 and the Republicans aren't. I'm going to vote for the Democrats. Maybe I won't next time, but this time I'm going to give them my vote. And Trump's right about that. So this really is the start of Donald Trump's attack on the Republican Party. It's really the first time he's been able to do it in earnest. Because before he was still president, he had the election before that, and then there was the impeachment trial, so he couldn't go all out because he risked maybe turning off even more Republicans who would vote against him. But now that everything is said and done, and they can't get him anymore, at least politically, legally, civilly maybe, but they can't get him politically, he is going to go on the offensive. Whether it's him running or his kids running or, his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump running, or whether it's him organizing primaries, this is the start. And McConnell is target number one. And this should be a lesson to folks. You cannot fence sit on fascism. You can't do it. Mitch McConnell tried to fence sit. Mitch McConnell tried to have his cake and eat it too. He tried to protect Donald Trump and criticize him at the same time. He voted against conviction, and seconds later, we all saw it. There's clips all over of McConnell immediately coming out and saying that Donald Trump is awful. I hope he doesn't escape accountability. What he did, he bears responsibility for the rioters and the attack on the Capitol and blah, 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 blah. And it didn't matter. Now everyone just hates him. The anti-Trumpers hate him. The pro-Trumpers hate him. Let this be a lesson. You cannot fence sit against totalitarians like Trump. If you do want to stop him, if that's your goal as a Republican Party, and I don't think it is, you have to go 100% against him. Because if Donald Trump thinks you're 1% disloyal and 99% loyal, then you're 100% disloyal to Donald Trump.